as we're underway at Grid Life Midwest.
Good dive through turn one for Rosenberg. This is where can Hamilton hold the inside as they sweep through the long right-hander. Couple of pops out from some of our Corvettes further behind, but Rosenberg gets a great run through two, puts the power down now nicely, and now tries to rip the lead away into three.
You know, Jim trying to drag race the Corvette down the backstretch. That is a tough thing to do. And Matan Rosenberg just pulling ahead of James Houghton out of turn three with the bottom up for fifth on that.
Yeah, the gap between the top three effectively and the rest of the chasing pack quite significant. Aranja able to keep with the top two. That's important for him because race one, he was involved in a fight with Chris DeLucia and wasn't allowed to keep tempo with those top two. AJ Hartman in the black Ford Mustang with the 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine out of F-150 in it. All that custom fabrication. He's the cork in the bottle right now and really looking over his shoulders as we come to the end of the first lap.
Here's where I'm curious now. In sort of damp track conditions, is the front-wheel drive going to be an advantage for the 41? Matan's car, again, he's raced this in the rain in GLTC, reigning champion 2 times over. James Houghton, a longtime competitor, not only in GLTC, but in Grid Life's Track Battle Time Attack series. But the track is looking quite dry on the line, so maybe it's not going to be as big of a swing as you would think.
Again, these are all on a spec Toyo Proxys tire, and that is something that would be slightly unusual for the TCR, designed to run with a different tire manufacturer, and I would assume compound. These aren't quite racing slicks, but may actually be suited to these damp conditions a bit more than the slicks may be. Rosenberg gets a great run go out of the final corner, and the gap at the end of the first lap, 0.8 of a second. Now, again, that was the gap that they had in qualifying, but reverse. So now James Houghton's got a lot of work to do to make his way past that Corvette.
You know, it's interesting watching them leave turn 11. I heard Rosenberg pedaling in, but when he put the throttle down, he went. It seemed like Houghton, when he got on throttle, I'm not sure if the differential was struggling to gather traction or what, but it just did not launch off the corner in the same way that Rosenberg did. It seems like he's got enough rear grip where Houghton is struggling while cornering to get back on throttle.
Gingerman is doing a great job here as well, much quicker than I think we saw from him in race one. The cooler conditions may be suiting him as well because Friday and Saturday were a lot warmer than what we're seeing right now. AJ Hartman a little bit relieved of the pressure though, as we've got a Camaro, a Corvette checked up behind. Great to see a Camaro. We're talking about maybe not too many of them in Grid Life competitions. Plenty of Corvettes, but Scafudo and Kings, 5th and 6th, sit right behind that big rear diffuser.
Yeah, and Scafudo's car is a Z28 Camaro. They didn't make a whole lot of those things, so it's cool to see one running here in Grid Life competition, all the way from California, paired up with the KDM Tuners crew. Also, sort of technically teammates to Jordan Wisely down in 9th place in that Veloster N. And Rosenberg, a little bit of a lateral slide, and Houghton's reeled them back in here, the middle sector, as they approach the final turn of the course.
I'm just trying to remember, I don't think TCR cars have traction control or anything, so it's not necessarily an electronic advantage that a TCR car may have. You mentioned the differential, though. It's going to be a purpose-built differential for race cars, so it's going to be quite good at distributing the power around. Once again, though, I think what we're seeing, that Civic great in the middle part of the lap, but when we get to some of those straights, that Corvette able to breathe a bit more. It's why it was such a surprise that James was able to pit Rosenberg at the line yesterday.
Yeah, and again, that's really no surprise. The TCR car has a ton of aero. It very much is an aero-based car, extremely wide, and it's very large dimensionally as well, but it seems to do very well in the middle sector, those faster flowing corners, about 100 miles an hour, quick direction changes, something that the Corvette might not be quite as good at, but right here, this is where that 41 is finding the advantage with the K2 car.
So different to a place like a Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta as well, where the TCR car will be at an advantage from basically turn 1 through turn 7 down to turn 10. The Corvette's probably going to pull away slightly. The 3 cars, they're now separated by a second. Christian Aranja's got a great opportunity now to watch and see where these 2 cars are at their weakest.
Yeah, 3-way battle for the lead. And player 3 has officially joined the game. Aranja sticks the nose up the inside. Houghton slams the door shut through turn 9.
Yeah, that's the TCR car just trying to feed the car into the corner. One long turn of the steering wheel before you get back to the next right-hander. Look how close they are, and you're again seeing that Aranja's able to get to the inside, but early before you're even at the apex of the corner. Needs to get there later. Another great run out of 10B though, and James James Houghton was not great here in race one. He's learned a lot so far.
Drag race down the backstretch. Houghton on the inside. This is where he won the race yesterday. It's going to be tight. There's a puddle of water. He slams through. It has to bail out. Rosenberg throttles up. And Ronha got a great view of that battle.
And now I think that the tires on the right side going to be a little bit damp as you head into the braking zone of turn one again. So a little bit conservative potentially for James Houghton. Rosenberg doing a great job. Although I have noticed you only need one headlight. It's a good thing because the right side's not working for his car.
Into the first turn here between Colin King and Scafuto. They've swapped positions here by the looks of it. So the 21 up to fourth place. And back to the lead again. Didn't take long for Houghton to eat this 484 back up.
Looks like AJ Hoffman's also dropped behind King and Scafuto, so maybe issues for him, but this is where James Houghton needs to try and find the move. If he can get it done in the early part of the middle sector, he'll have a chance to build up that advantage and maybe hold on through 10B and build up his own gap on the next lap. That cage on the Civic TCR car, though, not looking in the rearview mirrors anymore. He saw Christian Aranha's aggression and now responding with his own.
Wow, great respect between these two. Rosenberg leaving a little bit of a door open there per the rules and the regulations. You have to leave space for cars as soon as they show the intention of overlap. And this is a great battle for the top spot. It only lasted a third of a sector yesterday. It's going to last half the race today, out and up the inside.
Yeah, it's not my corner in grid life, it's our corner.
Yes.
It's the right way to race as well. Great exit from the TCR car, though, as they now begin to go through the gears. One thing you were telling me is Rosenberg has switched the gearbox in that car this year to a sequential, kind of similar to what Houghton's done. But what a great exit out of 10B. The Civic roars back to the lead and avoids that puddle on the inside of turn 11.
And he did it that time, so moved James Houghton to the top spot as we come by the start-finish line. And now it's a battle for second between the two Corvettes.
Yeah, Aranha's looking good, really good right now. I think these cool conditions suiting his car very nicely. The yellow and black 57. Now we don't need to see what I was saying. Can James Houghton build the advantage on this lap and lead Rosenberg to deal with the advances on the 57?
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. And so are the points this weekend. Look at how they run. James Houghton, 74 points on the weekend. Rosenberg at 69. It's going to come down to that fourth and final race if they finish as is. And Rosenberg might have to give up the opportunity to win the weekend if he loses to Aranha here. So that's on the line as well.
Well, for Houghton, this is a first and maybe one of only a couple of appearances this season. So he's not a championship contender. But Rosenberg and Aranha were separated by 21 points coming into this event. And we're halfway through the season in about 4 hours time. It's quite crazy to think about that. 3 more events to come, 12 more races. It sounds like a lot, but it's going to fly on past.
Yeah, the next couple of tracks are extremely different from each other. Watkins Glen International, upstate New York, then Lime Rock Park in Lakeville, Connecticut, and then WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca to finish off the season all the way out in California.
James Houghton, though, has done exactly what we said he needed to. Use this lap to build the advantage. Now Rosenberg just looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a struggle leaving 10B, and Aranha is pouncing. These were the two at CMP and at Road Atlanta that were trading blow for blow. But now with Houghton joining the race, it's a new car they're chasing this weekend.
I love the little details on these cars. You called out Christian Aranha's not got the headlights working, instead just a single LED bar in the middle of that front bumper for Matan Rosenberg. The left side headlights working, but not the right. Doesn't want to waste any of that electrical power. He doesn't need to, but 3 seconds in one lap. That's the advantage that I think a purpose-built race car will have in these changeable conditions.
And I wonder how much this was tire temperature, because that car did not look like that much of an overdog on the first handful of laps, but once it got warmed up, it is in a sweet spot now. And James and Matan traded first and second in races 1 and 2, but now that 41 is definitely on its stride.
And you said that you've seen some GT4 cars running in class as well. There are some drivers in TCR who are faster than some of the slower drivers in the GT4 machine. We cannot forget how capable of a race car it is, even if it is only, air quotes, front-wheel drive. Rosenberg is not looking comfortable, though. Yesterday he was in control of the car, and Christian Aranha out of 10B has got a golden opportunity to try and set something up. He's going even earlier.
Yeah, to the inside of turn 9, and Rosenberg had to leave that door cracked open, but Aranha's got a pinch-off corner entry there, and it's not going to be enough to keep overlap. But to your point, Rosenberg's certainly looking uncomfortable, just on defense now, focusing all out the rear view mirrors with driving off into the distance.
It's 3 it's not worth fighting too hard here. 5 or so minutes left on the clock. No racing driver ever wants to willingly give up position, so I have every expectation that unless there's a mistake from Tom Rosenberg, Christian Aranha's going to be made to work for this. Another couple of seconds though pulled away from James Houghton. It's quite remarkable. 1:38, 1:75. Last lap for Matan Rosenberg, 1:41.2.
It just goes to show you how much track position matters, right? As soon as Houghton got clear with a car that is definitely in its moment, he's just pulling away and making it look easy, but the paddle's still focused on second place, and I don't think that Rosenberg can keep this pressure corked up for too much longer.
You say that. Doesn't have to wait too much longer. So the checkered flag will be, what, 3 or so laps at most. And I don't think that you can make the move in the middle sector here. The cars are just a little bit too long and wide to try and do it, I think. Now, having said that, they've got 7 seconds behind, so maybe the opportunity for Aranha to pop to the outside where Rosenberg struggled to put the power down.
Yeah, and I think this is the right place to be here through turns 7 and 8 on driver's left. If he can maintain the overlap, he cannot, and he has to bail out before turn 9. But my point was that he pulled ahead there. It would be very difficult for Rosenberg to fend that off.
Well, the problem is going to the outside is of that corner. You're left on the inside of the next, and you always want to sweep that momentum through. We talked about the different lines in our top 10 shootout yesterday, but here's that run. I think 10B is where you really need to focus if you are Aranha, because the braking zone into turn 11 is a great opportunity, but maybe you set up into turn 1 side by side to the final corner.
Aranha will take it easily in the braking zone. Note that graphic on the bottom of the screen. Best lap for Aranha is actually slower than Rosenberg. So is this Aranha getting quicker or Rosenberg fading? I think it's the latter.
We'll find out next lap, because now he's finally got himself in front, and already 43.22. They didn't lose as much time to Houghton last time by, so he's maybe backed up his pace slightly, but now that this fight for second and third is at least for the time resolved itself, focus on the fact that the likes of AJ Harkin dropped back to 7th place right now, so the driver's struggling in these conditions.
Out of turn 3, Aranha building the gap to Rosenberg. Other fights are heating up. AJ Harkin and Hans Orbital are also in a pretty fierce fight. That's for 7th place. Matt Beck and Eric Meadows aren't too far separated, and it sounds like we do have the white flag out, and we're coming back around to a checker flag next time by here.
It's going to be a nice, decisive win from James Houghton. Just a reminder of what he can do in clean air, and if he can navigate the starts successfully, that seems to be the crux of the issue. He's got one more start to navigate. He might not be starting up front, though.
Yeah, right, because the winner of race 3 rolls to paradise, and whatever number they roll is the invert for that final race. So James Houghton looks like he might win this race, but he definitely will not start first in that 4th and final event. That really could shake up the weekend championship based on what we've seen so far. So the 41, after battling Matan Rosenberg yesterday and defeating him by a fraction of an inch, side-by-side racing for the majority of this one, pulls away in the late stages, and in dominant fashion now, James Houghton wins his 2nd race of the weekend in his 2nd race of 2026 at Midwest Festival.
Give a lot of kudos to Christian Aranha as well, because that's a well-earned 2nd place result to slot in front of Matan Rosenberg.